Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Howdy, howdy, howdy from the land of the rising sun. It's the iGPFun Formula 3 time, presented by SRP. I'm Austin. I'm joined by Charles Michelle with Samuli Kumo, not Sam Fitzpatrick, in the production booth. And you're here live watching Apex Racing TV live from formerly known Twin Ring Motegi, now Mobility Resort Motegi. Charles, how you feeling today? And how do you like Japan? How do you like this wonderful resort that we're at?
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting race. I haven't had this track very long, so haven't really saw any racing on it. So I'm really interested to see how this race turns out.
Well, I can tell you, it's going to be a lot of fun. This track has been giving a lot of fun to a lot of the drivers here throughout the week. It's a wide track. It's very good for racing and battling. It's hard to overtake around here, so we're going to be seeing a lot of close battles, and also Japanese asphalt. This track is notoriously, and all the tracks in Japan, because Japanese asphalt is notoriously low grip. So we're going to be seeing a lot of drivers struggling to keep these back wheels in check and save tires throughout the race here today. And you might also see some drivers do a lot of extreme tire warming as well here today. But I see big lockup by Pedrosaurus heading into the final sector. This final sector is so tricky. It's got that chicane right before the start-finish line. You've just flown into there. So it's going to be a lot of action here today, and I'm waiting for this race to start very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was watching practice, and I did see a lot of people struggling with, especially those hairpin corners, just trying to keep the back end pointed the right direction. So yeah, it's going to be throttle management. Obviously, the more you lose the rear, the more offense going to happen. And we've seen tire wear become an issue during this F3 races. So it's going to be very interesting to watch how if any of our leaders get caught out because of that.
And speaking of being caught out, there's a very tricky spot in the track. We're going to be seeing it right now if we stayed on board with that car. It's the S's heading out of into Sector 3. It's the left and then a right. If we stay on board of Lee Aberdeen, we can point it out to you right here. So it's this right-hander. This is a flat-out corner, so you're going to be pedal to the metal. It's this next corner. You're going to be slightly onto the brakes, and then off the exit of there, you're going to be a bump and the drivers had to be on the throttle as they go over the bump, or else the momentum is going to carry their car left, and they're going to be flung out into a weird spin unless they can control that car. But that bump is going to be so difficult for a lot of these drivers to catch up. I know all these drivers have been practicing throughout the week, so they've all mastered that bump, but it just takes a little small lapse of judgment, and then bam, it can happen right then and there. It's a big spot to watch out for.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you, once you get into close quarters racing, you don't always get to get your car prepared for corners the way you want. So that might be a point of interest during this race.
And this race is going to be a lot of fun for a lot of these drivers. Tightest section is that final section underneath that bridge and that double left-hander. But after that, this track is all wide open for a lot of these drivers. Overtaking possibilities. Well, you got the opening corner at turn 1. Always a possibility. Turns 1 and 2. The first 2 hairpins. You can always be seeing some drivers trying to make some moves in the infield of the oval. But outside the oval, you got that first hairpin, that long straightaway, and that 90-degree downhill braking zone for the other big opportunities. Now, this track says they have a lot of opportunities, but racing here will tell you otherwise. It's very hard to get up alongside another driver and then lunging forward to be making that move. So everybody's going to be on top of their game here today at, okay, I'm going to say the actual one that everyone knows, Twin Ring Motegi. Saying Mobility Resort Motegi just makes me want to just go cross-eyed. But yes, that is the actual name to add on to our silly track classifications. I know we had Moto Center last week, and we were talking about Circuit de Barcelona's, speedways here in America. Well, here's Mobility Resort, and as Jesper Sandstrom said to me, is this the place where I go to fix my knee? No, that is rehab.
Exactly right.
And if you are struggling with your knee, I would say you should probably look into rehab. Though I don't know. Would rehab be good for sim racing? Is sim racing a good rehab? You know, because you're flexing the leg and stuff, or flexing the foot.
I think it really depends if you're trying to rehab, because obviously there's a lot of repetitive motion involved in sim racing, which is not always a good thing.
Yes, that is true. That's all arthritis is for. We're not doctors. Neither of us are.
Yeah. Do not take any medical advice from anyone.
Yeah, I'm not a medical advice. I take photos of people playing soccer for a living. And Charles, I don't know what you do.
Write computer software. So.
And Simoli is I don't know what Simoli is, but he's mute, so he won't tell us.
That's correct.
But he also writes computer software. So I'm surrounded by nerds.
That's absolutely correct, sir.
As qualifying is coming to a wraps here at Twin Ring Motegi. Okay, I'm just going to say Twin Ring. No, I'm not going to try to force it. Jesper Sandstrom sitting up on pole position by 1/10 of a second ahead of Kevin Zwemstra behind him. Very tight lead that he's got here. I'm expecting a very exciting race throughout today.
Yeah, I think so. I'm looking down the list here. It's a half second from 1st to 15th. Obviously we talked about that 10th between 1 and 2. You get to P4 to P15, it's like 2/10 of a second covering those 11 cars. So, yeah, it's going to be fun up and down the grid. We had a really exciting race just a few minutes ago in the Spec Racer. So I'm looking forward to having another exciting race here. Big grid, big track, lots of straightaways, and lots of hairpins. Should make for some very exciting racing.
It would be a lot of big fun. Overtaking rules are no active overtaking on the first lap through turns 1 and 2. And then it is all free for all. So we got a short safe zone. Jesper Sandstrom starting up on pole by 1/10 ahead of Kevin Zwemstra, Lee Aberdeen, Victor Barris, Andy Flint, Max Bartolozzi, Tony Jimenez, Will McIntyre Jones, Francesco Fioroni, Michael M. Coffrey, Lucas Maruk, and Pedro Soares in 12th place. They're followed by Evan Way, Julio Aparicio, Juan Coffrey, Clark Williams, Alistair Hayes, Stephen Ritter, Sebastian Gravlund, Adam Tasman, Potapenko, Shaq Williams, and Chuck Morrow, and Manuel the Animal Vargas in 24th. Benjamin Gilchrist, Kuji Aito in his home race. Ryan Berry, Gilles Yanni, Paolo Breme, Edward Amos, Erwin Sumakans, Marcus Pudakes, all Latvian 31st or 32nd row. They're followed by the Latvian Otlovs, Richard Van Veen, Reed Dennis, and Ben Goyette in 36. They're followed by Matt Brewer, Robert Ridgway, Reno Scattini, John McKenzie, Philip Lucas, Matthew Gracie, Philip Waller, and Dorian Arroyo at the back of our 44-car grid. Georg Kelstrup did not take a qualifying time, and I do not believe will be taking the start of this race, but 45 cars all lined up here on a beautiful sunny day, 21 degrees Celsius, 27 degrees track temperature here, 63% humidity, of a dew point of 1,010. A little bit of a gust going north out of 6 kilometers an hour. It's 4:11 in the evening of February 19th here at Twin Ring Motegi Mobility Resort in Japan, as we are getting ready to rock and roll here at Motegi. It's 5 red lights as we go green, green, green for iGPFun from Motegi. Sandstrom getting a good start heading into turn 1 as everybody is just trying to run through turn 1 right now. But as they pass through turn 2, it's time to let them rock and roll and time to have some overtaking action. It's race time. And Max Bartolotta and Aiden Flint already swapping spots with each other. They go stop inside heading into turns 3. Bit late on the brakes. Tires not up temperature. Bartolotta goes wide and down to the inside. Hello, Tony Jimenez on the inside of Andy Flint. Flint stuck in the middle with you as he's bumping and banging wheels. This is not spec race or forward race. Flint's trying to just find the spot to be. We're 3 wide heading out of the oval right now. Andy Flint, horrible situation from the start. A little bit of luck up by him, gets into the side of Max Bartolotta, and then just killed the momentum around him, and everybody else just swarming him like a pack of bees.
Yeah, absolutely. So the front 4 basically just lined up nose to tail to take those first couple of corners, and then checked out. Everybody else behind them was 2 wide still, and then became 3 wide and tried to make it 4 wide in a couple spots. And so now they're just trying to get everybody sorted out here. And yeah, we had Flint dropped a few.
Oh, that's a dive. That's a look. Hello, Potapenko.
I think you're going to see a lot of those during this race. You're going to see a lot of nice runs down the straightaways and then diving.
I'm gonna go out on the edge. I don't think that was on purpose.
It may not have been.
As Potapenko's got to watch out in his mirror because Chuck Morrow wants a little bit of look on the inside. Ferroni is headed into the pit lane off that incident at the start, and I believe he was involved with that as big lockup heading into the final lap. Watch out, this rejoin, bang!
Oh.
That is the Manuel making contact with, I believe, Ryan Berry. There was another car involved as well. I saw 3 cars involved, I think. Or just another car locked up. Big spin at turn 1 on the apex. That is Ben Goyette around and taking a trip through the grass. Smart move to dive it into the grass and not stay on the tarmac right there by Ben, but not the start that he wanted. But I think he was the other driver that had to avoid that spin right in front of him. Back to our leader, Jesper Sandstrom, leading out Kevin Zwemster and Victor Barris, our top 3.
Yeah, it was very close. I did see a couple of other cars on some of those lockups and check downs. Looked like there might have been some wing damage on a car, and I couldn't quite catch the number, so I'm not really sure who it was, but we may see more people entering the pits as we go through. You know what? I'm going to say we are going to see more people entering the pits as we go during this race.
Yeah, as we were talking about in an earlier broadcast, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
Exactly right.
It's also I would say the line most used today in a certain American racing broadcast also.
Probably so.
Talking about a multi-car incident.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I have that broadcast on mute, and I haven't listened to a word of it, but I know they've been talking about it. That's how many times I've seen that race.
Wow,
As this is a good switchback look by Gravlund on Hay. A little bit of miscommunication by Talisman and Gilchrist. They had to pump the brakes or else it was side by side through the chicane, but diving down to the inside, that's Potapenko on the 44 of Gilles Yanni. Yanni, the 41 on the 44 of Benjamin Gilchrist. I'm sorry. Cars look like Potapenko right there, but Potapenko is behind them as Gilchrist and Gilles are still side by side. Gilchrist on the outside, Gilchrist on the inside, Gilles on the outside. They're side by side, still side by side, still side by side, still side by side. Into the grass goes Gilles.
Just ran out of room there.
And they're still side by side. They're still side by side. Oh, that was almost 3 wide looking by Chuck Morrow as he's enjoying this still side by side fight as they're still side by side underneath the bridge and they're still side by side through the corner. And I'm going to go on as they head into the short shoot. They're no longer side by side in the braking zone and finally making the move. It's Gilles up in the 19th. And no! Spin! Big spin! Oh. The low Japanese tarmac grip striking at the exit right there. 2 cars, Williams and Tumakans are off in the grass. As Shaq is in the most precarious spot right there. Right on the apex. Right rejoined as Irwins is spun around. Rejoining from the gravel onto the grass. Spun around right there. And it is just a targeting strategy.
It really is. It was great side-by-side battling for about 5 or 6 corners. And then, just too much mustard, as you like to say. Coming out of that last corner, lost the rear of the car from the low grip, and then around we go.
Well, yeah, it would be too much mustard, but around this track, the too much mustard would just seem like a very slim amount of mustard, honestly, compared to anywhere else. That's how low grip that this track is. It is so easy to get the back end around. It's like it's a drift track or something. The track just has nothing on the tarmac to just make it work. It's just how Japanese tarmac is. It's always low grip, and it makes a lot more exciting racing here.
It does, and I'm noticing on this track there's really no camber in the corners to help you out. I mean, I see a little bit coming off the exit of that corner, but by and large, it's pretty flat. So
the biggest camber is the curbs.
Yeah, exactly right. So you're not getting any help from the elevation changes or the track layout, and you're not getting any help from the asphalt. So it's just really a matter of being patient, which is not always a driver's strong suit.
Yeah, we're not the most patient.
Correct.
People. As we are side by side, Mackenzie and Gracie, they've been side by side throughout this entire sector. As we were going over the track grid, they're still side by side, diving out to the inside. Gracie stuck on the outside, and that move is made by Mackenzie just for a little bit because here comes Gracie on his back wheel. He's stuck onto the outside. He's on the race line. I would say he's alongside of him. He can beat him on the braking zone right here. And speaking of beating him on the brake zone, there's a 23 right behind him. A Scatini just wanted to go for that move on the brakes, but just thought about it. Clark Williams is also behind him. He wants to have a look as well. That is Shaq Williams, not Clark Williams. There's so many Williams in this race. I'm getting everyone's last name confused. As Michael Coffrey is wild through turn 3.
Good job to hold that car off the track.
Yeah, that would have been a crazy rejoin if he rejoined right there. The Racing Forces team are showing a little bit of TV camera sim love as they go side by side out of the infield and out from underneath the tunnel. And it is the two Hydro Race Racing Forces cars of Pedro Suarez said, "Oh no!" Well, rule number 1 of motor racing: don't hit your teammate. Rule number 2: always fasten your seatbelts.
Yeah,
I think that might need to be reacted to rule number 1: always fasten your seatbelts. Rule number 2: don't hit your teammate. But in sim racing, you don't wear seatbelts.
Exactly right. So yeah, just a wheel touch. Doesn't look like it's damaged either car. So it's kind of reset for Suarez and get back out on the track, try and make up that gap. And so it's always fun to race with your teammates. Sometimes it's more fun to race with them than it is an opponent. But you don't want to race them now.
Absolutely. I would say the most fun I've ever had is racing against my teammates on iRacing, because you practice with them. You're racing the same set. You know how they drive. You kind of always gravitate towards a team that drives the way that you like to. And it's sometimes the most fun that you have. It's like, hey, he's my good mate. I'm going to give him a little bit of a shoulder here. Get a little shoulder there. Lean into on this turn. A little bit of cheeky send. And sometimes things happen. Unfortunately, this is during the race. I know me and my old teammates, we would pre-race have a little bit of competition to see who can spin each other out more. This is why I'm not a driver.
There you go. So Sandstrom's got a little bit of about 1.8 second lead over Zwimstra. We got Barris, Aberdeen, Jimenez behind.
Something is happening to Matthew Gracie. As
spin.
Another spin for Matthew Gracie. And yeah, he's going the right way now.
Yep.
I thought he was going the wrong way for a second. I had to make sure. What has happened here? Is this a case of a little bit too much mustard? This is Manuel Vargas. This is all heading into the final corner again. The second time that he's had trouble here.
You could see it as he entered the first corner of that little S's group. He was already losing the rear. He was just carrying too much speed for his setup.
We saw lap one where he just flew through that corner with and rejoined the track in a very dangerous way, kind of catching everybody off guard through there. It's such a very tight corner that if you aren't expecting it, you're just not going to have a lot of fun through there, especially in multiple cars around you. In single track, it's very easy to make through that corner, but when you add another car in front, behind, beside you, it becomes an entirely new corner, and it makes the Baku Street Circuit Castle section seem wide.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's just as we see Barris. Barris had a really good race, I think, last week until he got involved in an incident in the late part of the race. But he's obviously got some pace in that car. He's running P3 right on the tail of Zwimstra, and you can still see Sandstrom up there in the distance. He hasn't checked out as he's been known to do periodically during this season.
It's not as a big advantage that this track can provide to a leading car and knowledge of the track. It's all about patience on this track and racing lines. Roots go again. You can get away with a little bit of track extension here and there. The way you take turn one, the way you take this corner. This track, it's all surrounded by grass. And it's all about how much curve you take and how much pedal to the metal that you want to go. So it's all about bravery for these guys here today, as this is Ben going side by side with Marcus Otzloff. Otzloff's making that move and the S's. And everyone keeping their back end all settled down right there. So Ben, after that crazy start, is pulling his way back as Marquez, well, me right, low grip on the rear end, as that is a little bit of a kerfuffle, as Fioroni, Francesco getting into Scattini. There. What has happened right here? Who spun first, or who would take a look at each other? Oh, this is just a wide entry, and then I think maybe a missed braking point.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of things there. I think
there was a few things that went wrong on both ends.
I think so. Obviously, I think Fioroni got, like you said, was a little wide on the entry, left the door open for the inside, but then kind of closed the door mid-pass. And then contact made, obviously looked like the cars maybe got stuck together there for a minute, as iRacing cars want to do on occasion. Just stick to everything sometimes, and except the track. So they'll looks like Scattini's in the pits. Fioroni's still driving around. He's lost several spots, obviously. is down to P32.
P32 indeed, but there's still a race to go. We are 20 laps away from the finish here at Mobility Resort Motegi, Twin Ring Motegi. Motegi owned by Honda, operated by Toyota. Motegi. This track has a lot of different names that it's gone by through the years.
Yeah, but Motegi's nice. We all know what Motegi is. So, a Twin Ring. I don't think I've ever heard it called other than just Twin Ring Motegi. But
yeah, Twin Ring Motegi. There has been a lot of different names. But yeah, the Oval was last raced in 2010, and that's because the Oval was kind of not the most stable thing, so they stopped using it. So the whole Twin Ring part is just formerly Twin Ring, and I don't know if they're going to keep the Oval up or they take it down. When they raced on it, it was really nice. You can still race on the Oval here on iRacing, by the way. It's a lot of fun with open wheel cars.
Yeah, we didn't mention this at the start of the event, but that pit exit looks like it's another one of those problem areas where it just kind of funnels right out into the racing line.
Well, luckily we don't have pit stops in this track.
Yeah, but I just saw
this
somebody
racing
come in
series.
and take service for some reason, probably to take a fast repair, and came right out in front of two other cars. So very interesting.
Yes, that is true. You can have a little bit of incidents exiting pit lane here. When you do, I've seen a little bit of issues in the iRacing open practices this week, and they've not been fun.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They've all involved me.
I can imagine. I can believe that also.
I was the one going straight. I'm trying to save face here. I wasn't the one exiting into people. As this is Tumakhan's on the MRP car. And spin ahead. There is Oltloss as Ben Goyette swinging around to the outside, trying to beat Tumakhan's around the outside on the brakes, trying to be the better of the breaker and trying to force a mistake, but Tumakhan's jumps up into 31st on Ben Goyette. It's up ahead. Clark Williams and Steven Ritters go side by side. Ritters onto the inside. Williams long way around the outside. Gets a little bit of hit on the grass off the exit, but Steven Ritters up in a 13th.
Yeah, he's obviously having a good run. He's up 5 positions. So just taking his time and making really good, safe passes. Looking to try to get into the top 10 if he can.
Yeah, he's definitely looking to improve his spots here today. Will McIntyre Jones in a fight with Pedro Suarez right behind him as they exit underneath that tunnel of the oval and head up through the S's. That bump is so subtle. You don't even know that it's there. Only when you're feeling the car, like you can sometimes just feel it, but you gotta just keep your head down when you head through there and just make sure that you tackle it right. Some drivers have a setup that negates that bump, but it doesn't make them as fast, but it makes them sure stable through there. As that is Francesco off in the gravel and into the pits as something has happened to him. And yeah, your prediction of cars heading into the pit lane is coming true. And also, Michael Coffrey set the fastest lap of the race, and then the next lap headed into the pits. And that fastest lap has not been topped yet.
I wonder if lap 11, I can't imagine that being running on quality fuel. Maybe.
No, remember we saw that spin at turn 3.
Yeah, you're correct. I think Fioroni, maybe he was involved in that incident earlier. Maybe just tried to ride it out, and so just figured that might as well go ahead and get to the pits now. Didn't see where he had, or I shouldn't say get to the pits now, but couldn't hold on to the car, and just eventually had to just tow.
Yeah, I think something might have. I think he tried to run with it, and you might be exactly right with that incident. Clark Williams still chasing down Steven Ritters, who's still chasing down the car ahead of him of the 194 of Julio. A good race going on so far. Steven Ritters, very good race, up 5 spots. The best race, I would say, by a driver is George Kelstrup.
could say that.
27 spots up.
Absolutely. That's probably a lot of skill and probably a little bit of luck involved. Just avoiding all the other incidents that have been on the track so far. But obviously looks like he's got good pace.
I believe Jorg did not have a qualifying time.
Oh, okay. So he started from the back, but obviously I'm just looking at his last lap. He just said his fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, 1:43.93. That is very good.
It is.
Lap time. The drivers in the 43s right now are, Matt Brewer, who is in the wall at the S's off the exit, and that is the most popular spot to have that spin out right there. Low grip track, the S is definitely a big spot to easily lose the back end of the car, and then he's crabbing.
Yeah, it's another one of those. Which way are you going to go with your setup? Right? Are you going to go with a high downforce set that you know is going to be stable through the S's and all these hairpins? Or are you going to go with a low downforce set?
It's not downforce.
All these straightaways.
It's not going to be downforce. Everyone's running the same amount of downforce. It's the spring setup. It's the suspension that's really going to say, are you going to have a car that really adapts to a low grip surface, or are you just going to go know what you're fast with?
Ooh,
as Matt dives into the pit lane.
Okay. I thought I saw a car going off, but yeah.
Yeah, that's the pit that's the pit entry. It will scare you if you aren't sure where it is. As this is Arroyo versus Otelofs. They go side by side on the entry. A little bit of swap around as Otelofs and Arroyo go back into a line in 31st and 32nd place.
Yeah, Merrick's just trying to make up some of those spots from the spin he had a little earlier.
It's not going to be the first time we're going to be seeing a car recovering from a spin.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
And we got a good fight for 13th on the map. As something has happened, Sebastian Gravlund and Steven Ritters looking like they had a little bit of a slowdown off the exit right there. But they're in a little bit of a train for 13th. And a good fight with them, Steven Ritters, and we saw him have that overtake on Clark Williams earlier, and now he's trying to chase down Sebastian Gravlund ahead of him as they race through that final sector.
Yeah, and Ritters had made up a little bit of time to get in position to battle for that spot.
We got a fight behind him as well. Diving out to the inside, that's a 46 of George Kelstrup. Getting past, actually, that was a lapped car in the way. Lapped cars mixing with the on-track cars, but it still looks like a little bit of a good overtaking opportunity for your Kelstrup. And Kelstrup adding more spots to his resume of overtaking cars, 143.9, another fastest lap for him, as he is still improving on that pace. So, been very consistent. And the cars running in the 143s right now are in the top 8. So Jorga's running on top 10 pace here.
Absolutely. He's doing a great job. We see this battle between Putniks and Vyacheslav Potapinko. Battle still continuing all over the track. I see Barris is now to a half second behind Zwinstrom. Up toward the front to the sharp end of the stick. The gap into the lead is now 2.2. So Sandstrom is still trying to stretch that gap out as we see this battle.
Potapenko down the inside.
Good move.
Beauty of a move, but off the rebound. Here comes Marcis down to the inside now. The Latvian Arrows team is going side by side with Potapenko onto the outside. Who's going to be the latest of the late breakers? It's Potapenko lunging into the brakes, so they're going to exit side by side. There's a car spinning out right in front of him. Potapenko had to get onto the binders real quick. Was almost out of the track. Max Bartolota has had a issue. That's at the entry of turn 1, the exit of turn 1, entry of turn 2. He is still slow and off the track, and this could be a free spot right here. Potapenko under pressure by Richard Van Veen. Van Veen looking down to the inside of Potapenko. They're going side by side. A little bit of a lockup right there, but it's Richard Van Veen, the Dutchman, up into 18th.
Yeah, that was Williams is actually spinning in front of battle that we were watching, and we didn't see what happened with.
Oh, but Potapenko off the rebound goes into the grass and a lockup. They touched briefly, but Richard Van Veen and Potapenko keep on going right there. That was a big look by Potapenko getting into the grass on the entry. Did he knock a wheel out of alignment?
Yeah, it makes you wonder. Didn't look like it was a very difficult touch, but these cars are not. It doesn't take much for you to damage the wheel or suspension on one of the corners, and then you're just done pretty much at that point.
Yeah, the front left wheel looks a little bit kicked in, but it's so subtle that you don't really know. It just looked a little bit weird heading into that braking zone. But Clark Williams is catching him up with Gilchrist right behind. Clark Williams could go for a lunge on Potapenko, but Potapenko has been very good on the brakes so far. He's been braking later than most of the drivers. We saw him have that big look on the opening lap, but I feel like those brakes, braking early, braking late, and braking hard might not be helping his tires whatsoever, because Clark Williams is right behind him and closing in with each lap. Williams right on that gearbox, could be getting a better run through this final sector. Only one way to find out, that's to see it live.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it makes you wonder. Williams, obviously, like I said, was the one that was spinning during that battle we were watching. So obviously was in front, so don't know what his pace is like. Don't know how much damage he's done.
Oh, Potapenko mistake. Tried to defend that inside line and outbroke himself. Williams sneaks down to the inside, but now Potapenko, another lap, gets overtaken at turn 1. He's going to try it again. This time, can he keep it on the track and not hop over the curb? Yes, he does, but he was very cautious through there. He had Williams on the outside. He didn't want to go wide and have contact. Williams stays in the course around in 19th place, and it's so easy to do that. And oh, Gilchrist! That was a very cheeky look right there.
Yeah, that's a tough move on the outside right there.
Got onto the curb. He got onto the curb and locked up. It's a very tight part of the track too. So around the outside at turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, those corners are very fast and very flowing. Around the outside is actually not a bad idea, because you can carry that momentum around there and force the other car that is stuck on the inside to have to check up a little bit and not use all the track for that exit. So that was a smart move for Clark Williams to try it around the outside.
Yeah, and obviously if you can get at least side by side car, you've got the advantage going into the next. You'll have the inside line, which may work to your advantage. And as we see this 44, Gilchrist and Potapenko still battling. I love watching these guys run. This very close quarters racing. They're doing a good job of racing hard, and as we see another spin. Can't catch that car. That is the 98 of Clark Williams. Spinning it. I think that's his second spin.
The third spin.
Yeah, or maybe.
Second.
You never know. As we see this battle still continuing.
Now Gilchrist and Potapenko. Potapenko once again behind another car, heading into turns 3 and 4. Is he going to go for it again? Yes, he does. Third time's the charm. Can he make that move work? No, he doesn't. If I was Potapenko, I would stop focusing on trying to make that move made heading into that corner. Focus on the exit and then try to make it heading into this corner, or just focus on the tires. But Potapenko, real life driver, loves driving and loves racing, and patience is not a driver's strong suit.
Exactly. I think we talked about that already. So no, he's looking at these corners, but I agree with you. I think we kind of wait for these long straights. We get a nice run and make that late braking move into one of these pins, specifically turn 1 or turn 2, and we'll try that and see if that makes a difference. But it's just a matter of, and also as you said, tire wear. We're over halfway point of the race, so the tires are going to be just they may be screaming now more than usual because of the low friction circuit.
They're going to be screaming even louder in 10 laps, so we got a good fight right now for second place. And also, speaking of drivers and patience, driver numbers. I haven't talked about driver numbers in a while, but after talking to a few of the drivers in the iGPFun Discord, I've learned something about drivers' patience. The driver's numbers it was the first one available.
There you go.
Some of them have a good meeting. Potapenko races in 24 in real life. Victor Barris 269. I believe that is just because it was available. Lee Aberdeen 999. Yep, that was the easiest one that you could go for.
Absolutely. I see Kelstrup dropped a couple of spots there. So he's now behind Van Veen and Putnik. And in front of that, Gilchrist and Potapenko battle.
But
Barris is just slowly working on and methodically Webstra.
You just got to apply that pressure. Try to force a mistake. As this is Kelstrup with a mistake. This is heading into turn 1. Is this oh, no. That is Kelstrup getting struck.
Yes, it was. That was
Adam
Talsma.
A big hit to the back end. And it just shows you how much can happen heading into turn 1. And braking here, I would say, is one of the hardest places to brake. It's not like the brakes don't work. It's just the braking zone is very wide.
Yeah, I mean, it's like any other race, right? Everybody has their comfort level of how much brake they can apply and how late they can brake. It's why we always call whoever the last of the late breakers, because some people are just more adept at being able to massage that brake pedal and squeeze it just the right way so you don't get lockups going into the corners. And then there's some guys that are just more apt to lift off a little early and don't work the brakes too hard and just get good entries and good exits out of those corners.
Those top guys usually are in the first one, and then you got us, the regular people, in the second group.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Though in tracks where saving tires is very needed to do, that secondary group might be a good spot to be. It won't be the fastest lap times, but it will certainly be the fast overall.
Yep.
As this is Robert Ridgway holding off Shaq Williams and chasing down Edward Amos, kind of stuck in a little bit of a 4-car group. The back behind him, it is Shaq Williams as he takes a look down the end. I can't believe he did that. I'm sorry, I've lost myself.
No, it was a nice. It was a little look to the inside.
If we go back to Shaq Williams, this driver photo, that is the musician, Shaq. That's musician as well. I found this musician earlier this week, and I tagged him in a message, and I'm like, until I'm told different, this is what you look like. So thank you for that. You made me a very happy man. As it is Williams versus Williams. He's going side by side through that final corner. There's still side by side versus Williams and Williams. Fight Williams on the inside, Williams on the outside. Williams getting a better lead on Williams. And a little bit of a mistake by the brake by Williams as Williams is racing around. A little bit of a race off the exit, but Williams gets ahead of Williams. And 24th, and that good fight between Williams and Williams right there. As they've been scrapping together, Williams and Williams have. As it is Shaq Williams leading out Clark Williams. I can tell I'm testing somebody's patience.
No, not at all. So anyway, I think what I was going to say was if he was able to pull that move off, that would have been the proper face to make for that dive into the corner or pass attempt. As we see Clark looking into the inside.
Man, Clark wanted that move.
Yep.
He wanted to be the best Williams.
Yep.
It's Williams versus Williams, by the way. It's a small difference in pronunciation, which I have the worst trouble with.
A little blink.
A little bit of a blink.
Yep.
A little bit of a hair-raising moment. Probably was looking for a Trumpesto. Is the name of that music video where that is where that face is from.
Yep. So here we go. We got Barris now. He's starting to look. He said, "Oh, running out of laps. So it's about time to make my move here and make this pass." But good defense by Zwipster so far. Hasn't given him an opportunity to make a dive into the corner. He's kind of run the defensive line. Not giving really an opportunity at this point. So we'll see how long it takes before maybe VRS gets desperate, or if he's content to just wait for the mistake, which is always, once again, driver patience.
And driver patience is always going to be tested, but Swimstra and Barris, they've... Oh, no. I think there might have been a bit of netcode situation happening.
I think you're probably right.
Because Talisma was the only car affected by that. I think there might be something going on with Adam Talisma's internet. This is what happens right here. He goes 3 wide and then just phased through George Kelstrup, just phased through him. I'm going to go on the...
I don't want to say the other. I don't want to say the other thing that I'm because Kelstrup and Talisma have been in contact with each other already during this race.
I'm gonna say Adam Talisma is not where he seems to be on the track on Kelstrup's screen.
Yeah, I think you may be right.
Because that's weird.
It is strange.
Now he does react like he hit him, but that was a very peculiar incident between these two. And I think Talisman has kind of known that he's being a little bit the blinker or just have something going on here. And that's why he was on that inside the track giving a lot of room. But that was extremely weird.
It was very strange. As we see Pudnik's still racing. And he's with Kelstrup. Kelstrup's trying to make the move to the inside. Makes that. It's like, yep, got that pass completed. Nicely done. Back up to P15. 30 positions gained for Kelstrup.
Yeehaw. I love a good overtaking fest on track. It's always so fun when you can make a move and make it work really well for you, especially in a very fun corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Kelstrup just kind of knew. He said, yeah, I'm just going to start and see what happens. And he's made a lot of things happen in this race.
Now, speaking of corners and specific corners where you always go for an overtake, what's your favorite corner to go for an overtake in all of racing?
Oh.
Like, what's the corner you just always go for a lunge at?
Successfully? Or
you just want to. As this is Robert Ridgway. We'll go back onto that question in a bit. Battling out with Williams side by side through the S's. Williams fitting out Ridgway, but Ridgway back onto the inside, heading into the hairpin. But it is Shaq ahead of Robert Ridgway behind him, and he's got Clark Williams. He's in a Williams sandwich right now, and he's the filling.
As we see Ridgway gets a little loose coming out of that corner. I think turn 1 at Watkins Glen. I think we just talked about that from earlier. I've got a naturally really shallow line through there, and I just eat that inside curb because I'm normally driving GT cars, so generally GT cars can handle it. So I'll do a lot of moves to the inside there because I can just take that inside curb and just power through it and power out.
Nice. Okay, so this one is a new one because it came to iRacing, but it's lost the last week. But I've been doing this for so many times. Whenever it came out, I've always done around the outside at turn 1 at Route Skotigan. Not up the inside, around the outside. I let them go. I let them defend the inside, and I just swing it onto the brakes, and I trowbrake that car to hold it onto the outside line of the track, and then I have the inside line for turn 2. It's just something that just feels so good. I finally was able to make that move work last week. I've attempted it multiple times with multiple car contacts of the guy on the inside going a little bit too far wide, but it's fun when you get it's so fun when you get that one right.
Oh, absolutely.
Then also, I'm just a crazy guy who just goes, I'm going to go around the outside because I'm a psychopath. I feel like around the outside moves are just something you just feel good about.
Oh yeah, for sure, because it just means you're carrying more speed. Obviously, you're more confident with the car. Oh, there's a spin in front.
That was Williams.
Yeah, Williams.
He's probably making that face right now.
Yeah, I think so.
Or at one point during that spin, it probably looked like that.
probably right. So that dropped him down 3 or 4 spots. But he's back on track. Hoping the tires cool off before he can make this next corner. You see Sandstrom up in front. He's stretched the gap out. It's now 4.5 seconds over Wimstra in P2. Barris still looking for a way around, sitting there in P3, just right on his tail. And, you know, they're just kind of waiting to see, okay, where's my move? I'm sure he's sitting there saying, okay, what is he doing in every corner? What can I do differently to make this move and make it stick?
Where can I find the opportunity? Where can I go for the opportunity? And what is he doing? Well, I can tell you one thing. He's swerving.
He's swerving and trying to break the draft, which almost never works.
It works at times, but it does not always work out. And if they continue this fight, Lee Aberdeen can join this fight and make it a little bit of a Three's Company sandwich between these 3 drivers. And Lee Aberdeen closing down on these 2. Barris, Zlemstra, the fight for second place still going on. 4 laps remaining here at Motegi.
Yeah, it's just you know, like I said, he's what can I do at this point? And it looks like that every time he's kind of made a chance or took a chance, his Webster's had an answer for it. So he may just be content to just take the P3. My guess is probably not, though. There's still, you know, 4 laps left. So so I'm sure there'll be another opportunity to make a pass or make an attempt of a pass.
Yeah, the attempts and offerings are going to be going down with each lap passing. So Victor Barris needs to be making that move. He's been on that gearbox, so he feels like he is faster. He definitely has the pace to stay with Zwenstra, but is that overtaking opportunity for Kevin Zwenstra then the pace? But as they continue to save each other, Lee Aberdeen is closing in on them, and he's within that 1 second gap to Victor Barris. So Lee Aberdeen, I would say the underdog in this opportunity, but they all have to make that overtake. Speed of overtakes to 69 of Amos, side by side of Clark Williams and Robert Ridgway. Ridgway round the outside of the brakes of Williams, though. Oh, cutting it close like a razor's edge. Well, side by side of Amos. Amos onto the inside of Williams. Williams now onto the inside, heading into the S's. They're going to be side by side throughout this corner. Very sure going to make that work. And it is going to be Clark Williams and Robert Ridgway with the overtakes right there.
Yep, I think that Angus maybe just said, okay, you know what? I don't think I want to try this battle right now. I think I'm okay where I am. We'll come back and try and fight again here in a couple of laps. And of course, he may not have anything for him. It may just be that these guys are just quicker and they're just moving up, getting spots as they go.
Williams chasing down Robert Ridgway, trying to bring that fight back. That fight for second place still going on between Victor Barris and Kevin Zwemstra. 2 tenths now. And I would say this is to be the best opportunity for Kevin Zwemstra. He's closing in that gap. Last lap by both these drivers was the fastest that they've done so far as they head into the hairpin. With just 3 laps to go, they're on the very top of the track, the highest point of the track. The hairpin up in the hills before that long straightaway and that dive down back underneath the track, underneath the oval and back onto the infield and the start-finish straightaway. This is the best opportunity if you are Victor Barris on this long draft, on this big opportunity. Looks down the inside, sells a fake to Zwemstra. Zwemstra, does he bite forward? Does he make a mistake in the braking zone? Barris still closing him down. Nose to tail on the gearbox, racing him down. Heading into the final corner a little bit wide goes Zwemstra caught a little bit of the grass on the exit, though it was Victor Barris going a little bit cautiously onto the entry of that corner. Barris looks down to the inside, heading in turn one. This is the opportunity that he wants. Gets shut off, though. The corner was very tight off the exit as Barris, though, trying to find that inside line, was held all the way down. Has kept the car length onto the inside. Now he's going to look for it once more. Sends it down to the inside. The opportunity is there, but as we've seen before with other drivers around the outside is where you want to be. Zwemstra stays ahead of Barris through 3 and 4. Zwemstra defending down to the inside, swerving down that straightaway like a snake. As here comes Barris looking down the inside once more. But Kevin Zwemstra stays on the preferred line and stays ahead in second place. Lee Aberdeen joins the fight right now. I can officially say that, as this is a 3-car fight for second place with 2 laps to go here at Twin Ring Motegi.
That was some great battling. They gave each other room. Did a little close off there, as you said, coming out of that corner. But, you know, nothing really major. It's just good hard racing. It just looks like Zwemstra is getting really good exits. And that's just propelling him enough to where Barris can't get by. So obviously, as you said, as we went through turn one, the final turn the last time, he got a little out in the grass, which gave Barris an opportunity, but was not able to capitalize on it.
And Lee Aberdeen sees that opportunity for him, getting closer and closer. These two are so close to each other. They continue on that fight. He'll give that spot that he needs with a big hit on the grass by Zwemstra. This is a good opportunity by Victor Barris, but he also hit the grass as well. So I'd say the advantage is Lee Aberdeen as he is getting closer and closer off that exit. 2 laps now remain for these two drivers as they are nose to tail with each other through turns 1 and 2 and heading into turns 3 and 4. No overtaking lunge for Victor Barris this time, as I would say he's thinking about his opportunities once more. Well, he's going to have to lunge on that opportunity very soon because he just has 2 chances left.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't have long. He's got this move now. And so, yeah, he doesn't have many more opportunities. There's not many corners left in the race. So if he's got anything for him, he needs to show it.
But it is advantage Kevin Zwemstra on the Algatech NHR by Neiman Racing. Has been doing what he needs to do, running his lines. Don't be focused on the car in the mirror. A little bit of snaking right there, but nothing reactive, nothing defensive line that he's been taking. He's actually let Victor Barris have that inside line before. And that was when he went around the outside at turns 3 and 4. Here we go back to the snaking opportunities. Trying to find any bit of advantage. He's pulled out a 1/10 advantage so far in this sector. But there comes Victor Barris deep into the braking zone, trying to just scare Zwemstra into an opportunity. The white flag is in the air now. 1 lap to go between these two in the fight for second place as Zandstrom brings home that white flag. 1 lap to go here at Motegi. A little bit of a dirty exit by Victor Barris, and he lost a little bit of time. He needs to regain that back as fast as he can because this is his last opportunity. Zwemstra gets a little bit of the grass off the exit. Lee Aberdeen also in this fight as well. All 3 of these drivers separated by 4/10 between each other. Lunging it into turns 3 and 4. Victor Barris, well, he's driving like he's on a quali lap right now, using all the track and then really going for it.
Yeah, it really is. He's getting really deep into the corners. He is making up ground, but then it just, like I said, it just looks like Zwemstra just gets much better exits out and just able to stretch that gap back out.
That gap is ebbing and flowing between Barris and Zwemstra. He needs to keep that pressure on because Lee Aberdeen is right behind him through the tricky S's as these 3 cars battling out for second and third place. Has a little bit of a nasty exit right there for Victor Barris. He's going to be losing a little bit of time off that exit through that first hairpin. Into the second hairpin they go. Kevin Zwemstra can see that second place get closer and closer. 4/10 separates him now. And just 4 more corners Can he see second place, and can he stay in second place? He just has to get these next 2 corners right, but they are the trickiest corners to get right. It's that final chicane. He had trouble a few laps ago. Can he keep it all dialed in? He keeps it on the track behind him. Victor Barris gets a little bit loose, dives down to the inside, and Kevin Stretcher is going to take second place. He's weaving in excitement as he is so happy with that. And Jesper Sandstrom, 2 weeks in a row, takes the win here at Twin Ring Motegi Mobility Resort Motegi here in Japan, in the town of Motegi.
Vuzi Potapinko is running P19. He's right on the back of Gilchrist. Going to try and pick that
He's been
spot.
very good on the brakes, Potapinko. Looking for that opportunity on this last lap. Little bit of a swinging move into the braking zone. Overloading the tire. Gets onto the grass, and oh no, they make contact right there. And then here comes Breme, but he slams on the brakes. He doesn't want to overtake them, as I believe that actually was a lapped car, not going to go for the move. Oh, Clark Williams is off the track in that final corner. He's had a little bit of misfortune and adventure. Lapped car in front of Potapinko. Potapinko, though, gets past Gilchrist. Breme and Chuck Morrow finishes out your top 20.
Yeah, that was a great ending of that race. There was some really good battles on the track. Yeah, you hate to see contact in the last lap. But, you know, it looked like that Potapinko had a good run to the inside. Maybe just got closed out in the apex of the corner.
Yeah, the racing is still going on. Matt Viewer, and oh, down the inside, over-rotated the car. I think on the inside he hit the grass. I'm going to blame that on the new contact prescription that he has on it. He's just not used to that eyesight.
Yeah, there you go. That'll do it for sure.
Yeah, it's the eyesight. You'll get used to it. We'll see you next week with even better times. Though I shouldn't say that because he actually told me before the race, I'm doing better. I haven't been this fast, so I'm going to say it's on the contact. I'm also going to just save you right there to blame all the contacts for that last lap spin.
That's right.
But good job by most of our drivers here today.
Yeah, it was a great race. I mean, lots of battles all over the track.
Up and down through the field.
Yeah.
Biggest mover was Kelstrup, up 31 spots.
Yeah. You know, obviously, there's nowhere to go but up when you start dead last. And so he made the most of that opportunity.
True. That is true.
You know, we talked about this a few weeks ago about pit entries. That's horrible.
This is a horrible one. On the list of bad pit entries, this is up there with Zolder. Actually, yeah. I think this beats Zolder. That's pretty even terrible. Tighter one. It's horrendous. Being glad IMSA doesn't come here, or any series that requires a pit stop. I think they came here once, and everyone just hated it.
Yeah, I think I saw them. I think I saw streamers do like one race. Said, "No, I'm not doing that."
Yeah, never again.
Yep.
But Jesper Sandstrom takes another win. The Swedish driver wins it here. The rookie Swedish driver with I would say the most glorious rookie season ever, leading the championship. Leading the Rookies Championship and taking wins left, right, and center. Ahead of Kevin Swenstrom, Victor Barris, Lee Aberdeen, Tony Jimenez, Lucas Maroon, Andy Flint, Petrosaurus, Will McIntyre Jones, Evan Way, Julio Policio, Sebastian Gravlund, and Steven Renders, followed by Kel Strupp, Marquez Budacast, Richard Van Veen, Potapinko, Benjamin Gilchrist in 18th. Behind them in 19th, it is Paulo Labreme, Chuck Martin, Robert Ridgway, Reed Dennis, Erwin Simonacans, Edward Almost, and John McKenzie, Shaq Williams, Ben Goyette, Clark Williams, and 28th. Behind them is Oates Lofts, Adam Talisman, Matthew Gracie, Dorian Arroyo, Matt Brewer, Ryan Barry, Reno Scantini, Max Bartolotto, and Francesco Fioroni in 37th, and Alistair Hay in 38th. They're followed by Phil Waller, Michael Coffrey, Manuel Vargas, Gilles Gini, Philip Lucas, and Juan Coffrey, and Kuji Aito at the end of our 45 car grade. Aito and Coffrey did not take the start of this race, and that is going to end it here from Mobility Resort Twin Ring Motegi, as this broadcast is heading to an end. We got 2 more tracks left on the calendar. Next week, we head to Austria and the beautiful Red Bull Ring. I'm excited for next week. Red Bull Ring always provides a lot of action, a lot of excitement, especially in these Formula 3 cars. I'm excited for next week. I hope everyone else is excited too. Thank you for watching the iGPFun Formula 3 series presented by SRP here from Apex Racing TV. I've been joined by Charles Michelle and Simone Kilmo in the production booth. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.